guys, who doesn't like to drive a car that sounds like that? It's a little bit trickery there with the parking garage, but always fun. It just sounds so cool. So welcome to the channel again. And if you guys are looking for a GT350 that sounds that good and you're in the market to buy one, maybe this video here will help you out a little bit. So what should you know about the GT350 before getting into it and buying a used one? Well, there's a couple of topics we will cover here, and I'll try to keep it shorter because there are a lot of lengthy videos out, and I'll try to keep it short and sweet and just enough to give you the information. And if you're curious, we're here at a location at an Amazon distribution center that got built during COVID, I believe, and it never opened. So I thought that'd be a good, nice parking lot to do a video. All right, what should you know? First of all is the build quality. You will find the bumper sag, the fit and finish is not the best. There are paint imperfections, and all that is pretty normal. It doesn't mean that the car has been in an accident or is damaged. Let's have a look at it. So what do we see here? I discovered the bumper sag right here. See, this is usually the point where the bumper sag. If you see here, these gaps here, they're not always the same on both sides. This one here, see, there's a little bit of a difference here on the other side. So fit and finish is not great at the GT350. This here pops out too. I mean, see if I can get a hand here. See, you're pushing it, fits a little bit better. So there's a lot of little issues like that, but that's just what you have to deal with the GT350, sadly, you know, and with any Mustang. As for the paint imperfections, I hear a lot about that from other guys. Mine does pretty well. The paint on mine is pretty good, so I do not have to deal with that. That was the outside. The inside, the interior quality, I think it's good. There are some hard plastics and there are some rattles, and let me show you where, so you know what I'm talking about. Let's hop in. Okay, here we are. So we have some hard plastics in here, like I said, like down here, but most of it is soft materials, fake stitching here, some Alcantara on the steering wheel. The seats is a mix of Alcantara and I don't know if it's real leather or fake leather, but it looks good. See the handle here of the handbrake looks good, and I do believe this is real leather. This is not, but it's stitched, it's real stitching there. So it all fits real metal too, same as these. So it feels good and it looks good. I like that everything's in black. Not bad at all. There are some rattles. One comes from underneath the gear shifter, depending on what speed you go. Another one comes from underneath here. But if you focus on driving and on the engine sounds, you don't really notice them anymore. But you can fix that. There's some remedies and there's some good videos online about fixing those rattles. These are the comfort seats. You get the standard seats, which are the recover seats, and they are not electric, and you get the comfort seats here that you can adjust. They are power seats. Now there are, on the 19 and 20s, you get a carbon fiber package, and this part here, this whole piece here going down here, will be carbon fiber, real carbon fiber. That is kind of rare to find, but if you're into that, look for a 2019 to 1920 to 2020 GT350, because those you can get in carbon fiber, and it looks really good. I wish I had it, but I don't, because there's a 17 and it wasn't offered in 2017. As for the options here, no memory seats. You do not have backup sensors, parking sensors at all. Not the front, not the back. You have a rear view camera, of course, and you have cooled seats As you can see here, you have cooled seats and AC, and of course you have a radio and navigation, but you don't have anything fancy. You don't have any ambient lighting in here. No, you just don't have that. So that is one thing to think about if you buy a GT350. For the price you pay, you get less luxury than with other brands and sports cars that are out on the market. So please think about that as well when you're interested. All right, so we have that covered. Exterior, interior. What else? I'm not sure if you noticed this, but there is no tow hook on this car. See that? There's no tow hook. There's no little opening to screw a hook in or anything, and that's totally normal. The GT350 did not come with a tow hook. Tow hooks came with the GT500, not with the GT350. I can't speak. When you go buy a GT350 used one, please check your splitter. It's this part here. Yeah, quite often it sits really low, and if there's a dip in the road or a curb, that thing hits really easy. So, and quite often people are not careful and they smack it down, and it breaks, and then you have to buy a new one, and they're not cheap. And in this video I'm talking about the GT350 only, not about the R, because the R spoiler, the splitter is even more expensive, and I'm not sure what it costs. But even this one here, we have prices $500 and above for an OEM splitter. Also, they are hooked in, clamped in on the plastic, and they have screws and bolts, and they have a lot of them, and sometimes the dealer didn't put them on right, so when you go on a track or you drive fast or you hit something, they come off. So always keep an eye on that, and if you have one with a broken splitter, you can still buy it, but tell the seller that it's broken, has to be replaced, and yeah, how expensive it is. So this is, by the way, the standard spoiler that came with the 17 model. So if you have in 19 and 20, that looks different as well. I think you have an adjustable one too. You'll have to look that up. Check your brakes. Check your brakes and pads if they have to be replaced, if they're good. I mean, they are pretty big and they're pretty pricey too. They're Brembo brakes. And if you notice, see the dust on here? And that's, I just drove it maybe an hour and I already have dust on them, and that is normal as well. So the OEM brake pads are very dusty and they produce a lot of dust, very high on dust. A little bit annoying if you're kind of picky on your car and if you like to have a clean car, but you'll have to deal with it, or you have to go aftermarket. Aftermarket ones are great. They bite a little bit less, I heard, but if you don't go on a track, I think that's all right. What else? Well, if you look at a GT350 and you hear some shifting noises, it's usually, it could be a couple things. Could be the valve for the exhaust that's opening and closing. It could be the ABS module that does a self-check. I'm not sure what it is on a GT350. I think it's the exhaust valve. I have an Explorer in 2020 and it does the same sound, a little bit different. I think there it should be the ABS module that's doing a self-check. I don't know, but clicking sound and shifting sounds while it's parked is normal. It's just a self-test. So don't think that something is wrong when someone shows you the car and you hear those sounds. So think about that. The engine is a topic, always a lot of negative comments about the engine. The negative comments go from blown engines to using a lot of oil. So what is true? Well, fact is, this is a production racing engine and it does consume more oil than a Nissan Versa or something, or Camry. So that is one reason why. So a lot of people don't know that. They just drive it like a normal engine. Don't let it warm up, just floor it, never check the oil. This engine, check your oil, drive it carefully and you'll be fine. And Honestly, blowing up engines, I haven't heard that for a while, but the early models had more problems with that, especially 15 to 16, even some 17s. It's not unusual to add a quart per 500 miles. Mine does not need a quart, but it definitely needs some oil too. It's fine for me. It's not a daily driver, so I'm all right with that. Just turn the fans on there. It's getting hot. It's a hot day here. Again today here in Utah in September. So think about the oil and the engines. Now in the 18s to 20s, they don't use as much oil because Ford made some changes. No, I don't know exactly what changes they made, but they don't use as much oil and there are less complaints about the engine. So if you want to make sure that doesn't happen to you, go for an 2018 to 20 model. So, but even there, always check your oil and always let it warm up before you put your foot in. So do that. All right, how's it going so far? Let's see, what else can I come up with? Okay, I got something else. Now, which one is the best? I would say, that's my personal opinion, if you want to collect the car, go for a low mileage model and pick either a 2015 or a 2020 model, the Heritage Edition one. The Heritage 2020 with 4 options, or a very early 15 low miles, your best bet for a collectible car, but you also pay a lot of money. So that's what I would do. If that's not the case, I would recommend a 19 or a 20 because you have more options available and you have the upgraded engine, which should use less oil. So that's what I recommend, a 19 or 20, you know, because more options are available and it uses less oil. That's your best bet there. All the other ones are good too, but it depends on the driver that owned it before and how he took care of the car. So anyways, that gives you an idea. Overall, they're all pretty solid if they have not been abused. So they're pretty solid cars. All right, guys, hope that helped you. I probably missed a couple things, but please let me know what you think and tell me what I missed. Tell me what I missed, or if you have questions, ask me your questions. And by the way, it's perfect timing because my battery right now runs out. So I'm gonna stop the video here and I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a thumbs up and a like, and I hope I see you soon for the next video.